Especially if time is of the essence.
Literally.
Especially in EMT.
Every second.
Time is of the essence.
Every second wasted, I'm like, this is 10 minutes gone. Like this, my child is about to die.
All right, last OTR and then one more article after this.
Stop touching me.
3, 2, 1. How ironic, that guy with 3, 2, 1.
Oh, that is so fucked up.
Whoa, what do you mean?
What'd you say
What
about
he
me?
just said about your ears?
No, nothing happened.
Did the guy with fucked up ears get a
Yeah,
ear?
you could. He heard it. He heard it.
You know what's crazy? I didn't even say it. I just
He heard your thoughts. That's how big his ears are.
I said a blank sentence with no words, and you heard it.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Just don't talk to me during this OTR, okay? Don't ask me anything.
All right. 3, 2. Whatever. We'll just leave it in like that. That's weird.
What did I do?
All right. Here's a question that gets asked a lot through the IG, sometimes the Discord, but mainly through just like regular people hitting up the JK IG is how does everybody feel about college? Like, what are your thoughts on college? How necessary is it? Do you advise someone to?
I'm just kidding.
Hottest take goes first. Go. College.
No. I think we talked about it in an earlier video.
Yeah, your like college experience.
I had a really bratty, shitty attitude about it because I thought I was wasting time.
You weren't learning anything new as a kinesiology major?
Not stuff. And once again, the lens of what I was looking at was very like entitled and very like.
What do they really say? Like what?
Because some of the stuff you just feel like, dude, you're just making me jump through hoops, like that aren't gonna matter. Like you think like that. You think like, well, this is how I thought, and I think it's not really that uncommon to think like that when you're going to school. I just felt like there was no point. I was just wasting time. I really wanted to be working. I didn't want to be here. So, and for sure there were some classes that I thought were bullshit. Maybe because of the professors, maybe not because of the subject matter, but just how they would teach it, and they just felt like they were going through the motions, you know. But until I found like professors that I really liked, that were passionate about the subject, that made therefore me passionate about it, I was like, all right, cool. And I think it wasn't until I felt like I got challenged where I felt like, okay, cool, I'm into this, I want to work hard, and I want to like do well in this aspect. But once I left college, I felt like I was glad I did it, but the farther I got on in my life, I realized like, oh, it was actually very valuable for me to go to school, and I got the opportunity that a lot of kids don't get to be able to just be supported through learning and helping my craft later on in life too. But during the time, I definitely didn't think it was worth it. I definitely thought it was a waste of time, and I think that's an argument to be made depending on what you want to do in your life. But I think it, like I said earlier, I have way more positive experiences from it than I do negative.
So as a in fighting or in training or in even in like weight loss coaching, do you feel like some kinesiology knowledge that you gained in college applies?
I think it helped out a lot.
Cool.
Definitely.
That's something that not a lot of people can say about their.
But at the time, I didn't feel that way. Like I was just being stupid though. I was being fool. I was being a young, ignorant kid. But
Not much has changed.
what did you say to me, dude? The fuck? You just disrespected me?
Just for no reason, just right in this gut.
And you're not gonna say anything, dude? Stab her up, dude. Dude. If you say another thing about me that's not really mean, I mean that's not really nice. I'm just nervous now because on the spot.
I love it. Wait a second. He's enjoying it.
Really weird.
I'm gonna walk into traffic and I'm gonna blame it on you, dude.
Oh.
I hope you do.
That's nice.
I can't wait to get blamed for that.
So let's say, what would your advice be to a person that's debating, like in a very short sentence, like if someone said
Very short.
should
Make
I-
sure very short.
if he's like, should I stay in college or just follow my passions?
Elevator pitch now. Go.
I don't believe in short pitches, dude. I don't believe in it because I think context really matters. Like whether it's coaching or whoever you're talking to, you got to meet people where they're at. So you have to kind of understand what their end goal is, or if they don't know I think most people you talk to when it comes to school, they don't know what they want to do,
Right.
Because they haven't tried enough things. Because I used to think like, okay, once you do this one thing, that'll be what you do forever. Kind of like that's what you think in your head, especially when you're young.
It's also hard when you haven't seen the careers.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know shit about any career.
I tried an EMT class.
Yeah.
I thought I was gonna be an EMT. I did that for like a couple weeks, and I was like, dude, I don't think I have the stomach for it. I don't think I could do this. Like,
you as an EMT would be pretty interesting.
Yeah, dude, I couldn't. I was like, I'm out.
Dude, did we tell you about our stuttering EMT?
Was it me? No, what happened?
No,
Stuttering
this is a major
EMT.
fucking sidetrack. But so Taika had his second seizure. Okay, at this point, between the first seizure and the seizure, there was 6 months. So we didn't think he was getting seizures. We thought at the second time around, we thought he was choking on something. So he was blue in the face.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, and I had to call 911. So the EMT comes. And at this point, we're like, what the fuck? Are we going to need to give him CPR? We're trying to sort everything out. The fucking EMT that's giving us all the information is stuttering.
Oof.
And in any other...
How bad stuttering?
Really bad. Really fucking bad.
Like a diagnosable, this guy has a stuttering thing.
Like that. Like, he just can't get it out. And I'm going, what the fuck is going on with my kid? Is he, like, dying? Like, can we get his... Like, what is happening? And he's stuttering. And normally I don't care because, I mean, it's a stutter. It's not a big deal. But in a case of an emergency like that, I'm like, bro, he cannot be the one.
Especially if time is of the essence.
Literally.
Especially an EMT.
Every second.
That time is of the essence.
Every second wasted, I'm like, this is 10 minutes gone. Like this, my child is about to die. So that's.
Yeah.
It's the kind, he stutters so bad, he's the kind that like blinks every syllable. Like,
yeah, and I was like, what the fuck? Yeah.
Seizure, like that.
Oh.
And normally,
man.
again,
And I just want to be like, just
do not.
spit it out!
Yeah.
Just tell him!
And you're like, we know he has a seizure, but what's
No, we didn't know.
Oh, at the time.
I didn't know. I had no idea.
Oh, sorry.
No, he wasn't breathing or responding.
Yeah.
And this guy's trying to explain it to me, and I'm going, fucking shit, can someone else please just fucking tell me what the fuck is going on? And I was like, literally talking that fast.
Dude, not breathing.
Yeah, anyway, sorry, but I like your answer. Just if you have a stuttering problem, that's maybe not that.
But like I had to try a different. I volunteered at the hospital for a little bit, and I realized I was like, I don't think I want to work at a hospital. Like this is really sad. Like delivering patients across to different wings, and then like bringing stuff to like the NICU. Like it was like tough, dude. You see all these kids in like G tubes and all this kind of stuff. You're like, oh, I do not want to be around them because like you would just feel this energy that. I was like, I don't think I want to be around this too consistently. But until I landed where I was like, okay, this is what I want to do. Yeah. And I was sure of it because I tried other things that I was like, for sure I don't want to do.
Yeah. Yeah, I think if you're going to go to college, I'm a big advocate for college. I think for some people, they don't need it. And I'm like, that's really cool. But I'm not someone that didn't need it. For me, because I was so sheltered at home, I didn't get to take advantage of it now, kind of in retrospect. I wish I would have taken college more of like, kind of like the buffet of what the world has to offer. But then with that also comes cost. So if you can afford to do that, that's super
a big
dope.
element for sure.
Because you can try different languages, you can try different majors, you can try different hobbies, and like and you're meeting so many different
Or if
people.
study abroad.
Study abroad, all of that, right? Like you meet so many different people from so many different walks of life that you really don't get to meet outside in the real world, right? Because in the real world now you have to like make a living or like I don't know, pay bills or do whatever.
Reality sets in.
Yeah, but when you're in college, you're kind of like in this really cool protected bubble where people have kind of the same mindset of like they're trying to be better at life. So like I wish when I was in college, I wish I wasn't in such a rush. Where I'm like, fuck, I just want to finish and I just want to get into my career and like I'm 20 something, like what the fuck do you really know? But there are some people like my brother that was like, I just want to like work with my hands. Like I don't want to do any of this shit. So he really early on, like for him was like, I don't want college. Yeah. I just want to build my own business up and I want to be an electrician and I love this shit. And he just got out of it.
That's a blessing to know what you want to do. Yeah.
I had no idea what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think for certain people, if you can afford to do it, which is again a bummer, but I think there's scholarships and a bunch of stuff now that you can apply for, but I would say like, dude, experience it. Be in a frat or in a sorority, like get into different activities, go to these parties, like just have fun.
Yeah, the experiences is a big part.
It's unmatched.
That's really cool that your brother, he went to trade school?
Yes.
I'm a big proponent for trade schools. Like I'm really, really strong about people going to trade. And I think just in general, the nation is really trying to encourage people to do that more. Because those people never are out of a job. And there's always a demand, like especially electricians right now. Like there's not enough electricians.
Today's video is brought to you by Lumi. You know, I am very sensitive to smell. And that's why I like Lumi, because they have a lot of options where it's just all chill and it doesn't feel and smell so strong.
And what's dope is they make a deodorant that works all over your body. Because sometimes, you know, like maybe your arm might smell like shit, but your armpits smell good, and you can use it all over.
You can go like this and go, oh yeah, it just neutralized it.
Your forehead, butthole, penis, vagina,
thighs, everywhere.
elbows, fucking bat wings.
Bat wings. Do you guys know what a bat wing is? It's a hot day, and then your sack touches your straight up thighs, and then when you spread it out, it just opens up and flaps.
Anything. It's invented by OBGYN. She made it for the vagina, so if it works for the vagina, it works for your eyelids, everything. The Lumi Starter Pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, a cream tube deodorant, and 2 free products of your choice, like mini body wash, deodorant wipes, and free shipping. As a special offer for listeners, new customers get $5 off the Lumi Starter Pack with code OTR at LumiDeodorant.com. That equates to over 40% of your starter pack when you visit LumiDeodorant.com and use the code OTR. And you're learning directly what you're gonna use. College is so theoretical.
It's theoretical.
Yeah, and you're like, you learn all this theory and you're like, okay, cool, I think it's cool, I understand all that. And then I think the biggest gripe you hear people say is once they graduate, they literally use nothing they learned in college.
But that's not true.
But in trade school, it's like you learn exactly.
It's very specific, Same with like, I think obviously the dream is to go to STEM field if you're like going to college at all. Like that's probably a better guaranteed result. But in terms of like other decisions like artistic or creative, that's borderline. Like if you figure out while you're there how to not be there and still do that, that is the better choice. But you have to figure that out. That's the hard part. Because I dropped out of UCI to compete for America's Best Dance Crew. That's like worth it to me. Like because I was like, oh, I think I can just do this. But then I was there for journalism, and then I left with, I have 1 semester.
And now here you are, back in journalism.
But respectable journalism.
Comes full circle.
The real one.
But that was one of those things too where I had teachers in college that were also sensible enough to tell, like every teacher that I had in journalism was very much a realist, and they were like, technically if you can write now, then do it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Now.
That's tight.
Yeah, because they were saying like you're just an author on a page. No one's like, how old is that person? How much do they know? Like if you can write it, it's written. Like it's the body of work. It's this. And she's like, yeah, I mean,
you can write it, it's written.
Yeah.
I like that.
That was right before she told me about the dip, dodge, duck, dive, and dodge. She's very redundant, but which was great. But that, like, I think the worst part about college is the illusion that you need it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's old school.
And it depends on who's. Yeah, it depends who's saying it. But if the system is saying it and culture is saying it, that's harder. I think it's better if someone sensible is telling you, oh, you need this if you want this. But then the idea as a collective where it's a given that like, oh, in order to be a successful person, that's where it's not true.
And especially nowadays too, it's like you have to keep in question if you're going to take on debt.
Ooh.
Like comparing
That's
that.
another game,
Yeah, like really taking that into your consideration of what are you gonna study, what are you gonna come out with it, like and how much debt you're willing to take on. Because I think when you're young, you think like, okay, it's gonna be fine, but afterwards, it's a big weight over your shoulders that you have to always deal with.
Yeah, you start life at a negative.
Well, think of like film school for instance. I use this example for people like who want to go to film school. Of course, there's always going to be pros and cons to going to school. Some people may come out of it with more knowledge than others. But with film school particularly, I think the money that you spend on school, spend it on your gear. Spend it on your equipment. And now you have the tools that you need to actually execute the things that you're going to work on. And you can get like in experience on the job.
And you can rent your own gear out.
You can rent it out, right? So just now you own it, and if worst case you sell it, and then you go to school.
Yeah, I'm definitely I'm more of a like, dude, just do what you want. Like, I'm not for or against college, because for me, I went to community college, and I also stopped for the exact same reason, because of ABDC.
Idiot.
And I was like, when is this opportunity ever gonna happen again? I'm quitting school, I'm quitting my job, I'm just gonna go do this. And then when I was done with the show, I was like, do I want to go back to school? Because then that was another question. It's like, okay, but what do I really want to do? And it always comes back to the question of, what do you really want to do? And then once I realized, you know what, like, what if it's not what about what I want to do? What if it's about what I can do right now because of my opportunities that I have right now? It's like, I can definitely go back to school, or I can dance, because this dance thing is only gonna happen now.
Sure, yeah,
So
very true.
I just picked the thing that I know for sure I'm not gonna get this chance again.
Yeah, that's a really good way of seeing it.
Yeah, unless you want to be like a lawyer or a doctor or something that you actually really need to go to school.
Nah, fuck it.
for.
Just wing it as a doctor.
Yeah, just wing it. Just wing
But
it.
if you lawyered it, you lawed it. So
Because the thing is, let's say
If you write it, it's written.
Wow, this is just mind blowing.
Yeah, dude, the option.
I've never heard that.
Revolutionary.
Yeah, the option to go back to school is always gonna be there. It's never gonna go away, because there's always gonna be schools.
And they'll always want your money, dude.
That's right.
that's
Like,
true,
come back. Yeah, of course, we'd love to have it.
Also, like, know how you learn. Some people aren't good in a classroom
That's true.
setting.
Yeah.
You know, some people learn better by hands-on or figuring problems out, like, on the job.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, not going to college. I only went for like a semester, but not going to college after experiencing what college was like. I was like, dude, I really actually love learning. So let me try my best to learn what I can from my travels, from experience and whatever. Just soak it all in, and still try to gather knowledge, because I knew that that was the point of college, right? Is to learn.
Yeah. You're really good at it, because you've had your own, like you had Dusky Hunters, you had like your music, now you have your editing gig, like you're just,
you have your own
whatever
editing
you
company.
pick up, whatever you
great.
pick up, you like master it, dude.
Thanks.
I had my own like journey almost of like different feelings for it. So when I first got into college, it was like I needed it because it was pre-med, so I have to go to college and you have to go to graduate school. Then I started doing JK with Joe, and then there's this whole time where like I really hated it, and almost my second and third year was like all theater or film classes, and I'm like, man, I want to get out, but I'm like so close to graduating. And then that was the time I would see like Timothy Delgado drop out of college, Kev Jumbo dropped out of college. Like, everyone was just dropping out of college. I'm like, man, should I do it? But I didn't have the balls to, so we ended up graduating, and then we started doing JK. And then because I think I had such a like negative feeling towards it when we were doing JK, and it's all about pursuing your passions, I was like, man, you don't need college. Like, you could just go, and if you figure out what you want, you just get after it 100%. And then I had a very like, you don't need college type of mentality. And then I remember we started touring the nation, and I would start doing shows at all kinds of colleges, state schools, Ivy Leagues, whatever. And I'm like, oh shit. And we had this conversation yesterday where I'm like, dude, some of these kids that go to the top schools, they're a different breed of kid. And like, for example, we're at Brown University, which is an Ivy League school. And then we had dinner with one of the kids, and he's a junior. And then we're like, oh, like, what do you do in your free time? He goes, well, I created this thing called the bike card. I'm like, what's a bike card? And he pulls out a credit card, and on the corner, it was like a bit, like almost like by a cartoon character. And he goes, what I did is I went to all the like eateries and restaurants in this neighborhood, and I'm like, can we do an arrangement where if like these kids, they pay like the subscribership, and then it's automatic like 15 or 20% off at BJ's, like Chick-fil-A, whatever. And I'm like, you did that as a fucking junior, which is like, what, like 20 or 21 in college? While he's pre-med. I'm like, this is just a different level of kid.
It's like innovators.
Yeah. So like when we would speak at Stanford or speak at whatever, I'm like, okay, like these places, like this is literally like a think tank for the future leaders of America. You guys need to assemble and be here. Like for someone like me, like I was probably just filling a seat. So I don't know if I really needed college. So I had that like eye-opening experience. I'm like, if you get into the top colleges, like that is a portal to the next level. Like you guys are going to be senators and crazy shit like that. Then afterwards, after that period, I started like looking at the way that I structure my life. And I'm like, you know what? I think the biggest thing I actually took away from college is kind of like being able to look at things from a macro point of view and long distance. Because I think usually it's like, dude, how do I lose weight in 2 months? Everything's so short, you know? And then usually the biggest thing that anyone has ever even thinked about a time frame is college. 4 years.
Yeah.
6 years, yeah.
Yeah, or like 6 years, however long. And that was the first time I was like, you know what? Like, because of college, it made me be able to look at something. What do I want to accomplish in 4 years? How does that break down into every year, every quarter, every semester, down to the day? Almost like, oh, okay, if I want to do this, I need to do this every Tuesday and Thursday at 10 a.m.
Your own graduation of life.
Exactly. And then so that's how I started like structuring my, and then I look back, I'm like, oh, that's how I structure my life. Like if I want to get it, like when I talked to Nick about jiu-jitsu, I'm like, I'm not going to commit to jiu-jitsu unless I can do Tuesday, Thursdays this time, and then I'll do that for like 5 years straight. But that ability to think like that kind of like mental infrastructure, I'm like, oh shit, I don't think I would have had it had I not gone to college. So I kind of have like this full circle now where I'm like, I think I was one of those kids that needed college to be able to look at what's my big goal over a long period of time, how do I break it down, and then how do I take the individual classes that lead to the actual course that lead to the degree, like your life degree, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
That's actually a really good way to think.
Yeah, you know what you can also tell people that are questioning whether they should go to college or not and pursue the dream? I actually would tell them, if you can do both, do both. Like go to college and on your free time, do your other thing.
Heck yeah.
You don't necessarily have to give up one or the other.
Right.
Just do both if you can fit it in.
If it works, yeah.
Like if you like it enough, you would manage the time properly to get it all done.
You'll make it work.
Right.
Definitely.
That's true.